I'm using this expression a lot. Just when I think everything's been done and said, that's over, something else comes up. If you've just tuned in, if you've been in a coma, if you haven't been a part of what we've been through, there is a movement right now that is absolutely insane. It is, I guess you would call it part of I always use this term, but it's in essence, it's a murmuration. And a murmuration are these patterns that starlings, the birds, will follow. It's like it's this repeated orchestrated movement. They don't ever lose focus of where they're going. They don't. Look at the beauty of this. Check out the sheep also. They're running in circles and they're being herded by most probably kind of a border collie or something. And this is human behavior. This is what we're doing right now. This is where people are regarding not listen to me, not the Charlie Kirk investigation, not the Tyler Robinson prosecution, but Candace Owens. It's something I've never seen, never thought I'd see, makes no sense to me. What does she have to do with an investigation, with a prosecution, other than pointing out things she thinks you should pay attention to? And that's where we are right now. Every day, these new people, Pickles and others, Barnes is doing it, Viva's doing it, all these other people. And by the way, they're entitled to do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. But all of a sudden, all of a sudden, people who were really respected, really who thought like, this is good, who I thought were kind of one of us, so to speak, who always, we don't go, I can't speak for you, but I don't go looking for conspiracy. What I look for, believe it or not, is something that may or may not make sense. The Luigi Mangione case, absolutely, positively, 100% is him killing Brian Johnson, whatever the CEO's name is. Sorry, I forgot. In the Lindsay Clancy case, it's clearly she killed her children. The question is whether the criminal liability part of it can be established, but she did it. I don't take the position that somebody else did it or the police are lying. It's not my thing. It's not. It's just I don't go there first. 99.9% of all criminal prosecutions are 100% as you think they are. This is a different story. This is a different story. And the hardest part for a lot of people, I hate to keep using these wonderful these analogies over and over again, is there's a fellow by the name of Eric Bren. And Eric Bren was this guy on Ed Sullivan. And what he did was, when I was a kid, I was fascinated by this. And I always thought, what a great analogy. And he was the great plate spinner. He did plates and bowls, and he had to keep, 6 plates going at the same time. And he had to go back sometimes and maybe address another plate that's kind of wobbly. And this is what life is to me. Maintaining a number of different simultaneous stories at the same time as redundant, simultaneous, concomitantly, and not losing my mind. There's the story of the whodunit of Charlie. There's the trial of Tyler. There's the issue of TPUSA and Erica. There's a separate issue, if you want, of Candace. And there are some other ancillary issues as well, maybe the media or conspiracy theories or whatever you want to call it. They're seemingly similar, seemingly distinct, but they're being handled simultaneously. And you've got to maintain focus. And just as you figure this out, somebody gives you a new plate and they introduce it. I don't know if they do it on purpose. I don't know if it's deliberately made to confuse you. I don't know. My gut instinct is we just love crazy people and we just love wacky people. And Pickles came out of the blue and is, without a doubt, the most despicable of the entire lot. Absolutely, without a doubt, the most despicable. The most despicable. There is this one, I'm going to read this to you. This was from, this was yesterday. This was at 10:47 p.m. This is what Andrew Wilson says. I know a lot of you Candace people were looking forward to the stream tonight, and many of you canceled plans. I want to apologize, but I decided to hump the wife and have a beer instead. See ya tomorrow. Now, this is the fellow who, by the way, is doing this deliberately, this boorish, churlish. I mean, he makes Andrew Tate seem classy by comparison. This is where we are. So this is another person in it. Now, meanwhile, what are we talking about regarding the case? Nothing. Pickles is a man. Listen, if you've just tuned in, if you've never heard him before, you know where he gets his name from. That's fine. This is a guy who came along, and lo and behold, I find this fascinating. This is a guy who came along and decided to come up with this unique narrative on his part. He was in the military, maybe. It might have been a colloquial sniper, whatever that means according to his wife. He might have been a gunsmith, but we're not sure. Private, maybe. Not enough information was made to have him answer specifically. What did you do? Okay, fine. The reason why that's important is simply this. At one particular juncture, he said that bullets will disintegrate in midair. Some bullets, once they leave the barrel, brand new rounds, jacketed rounds, will leave the barrel and disintegrate. And he doubles down on it. And I'm thinking to myself, how can somebody do that? How can this happen? How? Somebody tell me how this is even remotely possible. How is this remotely possible? How can you suggest that if this is the barrel, this is my lint brush here, if you were to pull the trigger, the bullet gets to the end of the barrel, and immediately upon leaving, because it has maybe a millisecond, I don't even know, to hit the target usually, it disintegrates. This has never happened in the history of humankind. Never. Bullets don't just, they're frangible, they break up into atomized little portions once they hit something, but that's not the case. So he said that and doubles down. He wants to hump his wife. He wants to scream. His wife also, this trailer trash, vile, termagant, low rent, just low, no class, absolutely. All you need is a bunch of tats and thongs and maybe even a bonnet. That would be different, but it's just, anyway. So that's part of this story. And it is one of the most fascinating every single day. Now, I am telling you, and I can't say this for you, if Candace decided tomorrow just to leave, okay? Just left, got off of social media, went on a 5-year cruise, and we never heard her again. I would not change one opinion I have, because my opinion is not based on her opinion. My opinion has been on the evidence that has been adduced by many people, up to and including Candace Owens. Are you of the opinion that you really don't care one way, but if Candace says he's guilty, you're going to go along with her? If she says he's not guilty, You're going to go along with her because you have no independent sense of thought or right or wrong. You just love Candace Owens. Is there anyone here? Maybe I missed this. I've not seen one of you yet, but maybe you're here. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you just say, I don't really care one way or the other. If Candace says that gravity is wrong, I'll change my mind because I'm mindless. I'm opinionless. I depend on Candace Owens. I've not met anybody. If Candace Owens came out every day and said, now listen, Tyler Robinson didn't do this. Okay, why? Just take my word for it. I don't think that would work. I don't think many of us would say, well, say the word. Say no more. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Thank you. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? I don't think anybody at all would think that for anything. Seriously. I don't think that. It does not occur. But yet, the narrative has switched from the evidence, from Tyler Robinson's case, to Candace. Why do you think that is? Well, first, there's a number of vectors to this. Number one, it's done that way because of the fact that it's kind of easy and it does it on its own. We live in a world right now where we just love personalities and we love to hate people. We love to hate how people look and what they say. You could put up a Kathy Griffin picture and no matter what she does, people will hate her because of the way she looks. It's kind of tragic, but they just hate the way she looks. It says a lot about us. We just hate people who look funny or rosy. We love to hate people. It's part of who we are. It's true. Hating, in the classic sense, it's like an emollient. It's soothing. It's the opposite of love. It's whatever you want to call it. It defines who we are. And it's one of those things which is so wonderfully ambitious to say, I want to tell you about what and whom you hate. That's the bottom line. It's about hate. I'm sorry to say this, we love to hate. Love at levels you cannot even put into, you can't even put into words how true this is. Which is the truth. I mean, seriously, you cannot put into words this, I don't know what you want to call it, this level of detestation. And we can talk about that. I don't know if it's that interesting to you. I don't really think it is. It's just one of those things. But I will tell you, and this is the most important part, this is so interesting, probably more than anything else. There is something about this that I think speaks more to our human nature than anything you can possibly imagine. Now let's talk about some others. Going back a little bit in terms of history, you may not recall this, maybe you do. There was a time when the JFK assassination was really, really big. It was huge. And people didn't believe from day one it happened. After the Warren Commission, it was a joke. People then, with no Zapruder, remember the Zapruder film came in, I don't know, the Zapruder film came in 77, maybe? 77, I guess. It was during might have been 77. It was during a Good Night America version with Geraldo Rivera. It was his show. And what happened was, the first time we saw it, people freaked out. Now, everything prior to that, Mark Lane, Dorothy Kilgallen, later on, Oliver Stone, but this anti-Warren Commission report came before that. Now, what's interesting to note, which is fascinating, is the following. Nobody went out and said you were some crazy Mark Laner or Dorothy Kilgallen. Mark Lane was the guy from the beginning. And then after JFK, the documentary, nobody came out and attacked Oliver Stone. They attacked still. They maybe had mentioned him, certainly. But they talked about the facts of the case. Enter today. Nobody talks about the facts of the case. It's all about Candace. And when I tell people that, I don't think they realize what I'm saying. I've never seen anything like this. Nobody ever talks about the facts of the case. Nobody. me give you an example of something. Let me give you something which is so interesting. And each day they find new ways. Now, you probably didn't know this, but coming up on September the 10th of this year, there's going to be the 1 year, there's going to be Build to Last, honoring Charlie Kirk. This is a UCCU center, Utah Valley, whatever, doors open. This is going to be a Charlie Kirk legacy. I don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. Does anybody know where Charlie Kirk is buried? Anybody? Anybody know that? Anybody know where Charlie Kirk is buried? Anybody know whether he was buried at all? Could he have been cremated? I don't know. Anybody have is there a permanent, this is something, this is going to be Utah Valley University, doors open. It's going to be some tribute. This is going to be there at the site of this is where Utah Valley University's, why are we going to Utah? Why not go to where his grave is, or where his tribute is? Does this make any sense to you? Why do we do this? Why are we doing this? Why? Why are you going to the site of the murder? I don't want to have anything to do with Utah anymore. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure it's a great place, but I'm saying in terms of why are they doing this? Why are they perpetuating Utah? Their focus is on the murder. The murder. They have the microphone. Remember that microphone he was using? They have these makeshift canopies or these tents or whatever these were. These things were that were. What am I trying to say? That were recreated where Charlie was killed, and people were taking pictures. It's this lugubrious, funereal, death, moribund. I don't want to say necromancy, but it's this weird focus on the death, not his life, not a tribute to Charlie, what he did. How about a room? Imagine having a room, a circular, almost like, not a mausoleum, but almost like a tribute, where you walk in and they have like a museum, and you can go and it's interactive. You can push a button and see where Charlie was born. You can hear him from the early days and take his videos, where people can go and study, take a repository of everything he's ever done, put it there. So anybody studying him can say, this is everything that we have recorded of Charlie in this one place, kind of like a presidential library. We'll go there. We'll do that to celebrate his life. Put something about Eric and his kids. I don't care. That's his life. That was it. But whatever. But talk about him, what he did, a tribute to inspire people, what he did. Testimonials from young people who said, Charlie turned my life around. Charlie brought me to church. Charlie brought me back to Christianity. Charlie, that would be wonderful. Why don't we do that? Wouldn't that make sense? But no, they don't do that. They don't think that way. They think differently. They're, again, moribund. It's funereal. They're ghoulish. They focus on the death and they focus on Candace. Let me say that again. The people who are trying to keep this organization ostensibly going care nothing about the legacy, the commitment, bringing new people in. No, not at all. They're not interested in that. Why do you think that is? Because there's nobody in charge. There's literally, as the kids say, nobody in charge. You've got children, little boys. You got Colvin here. You've got Neff here. Neff, they keep saying, where were you? He won't even answer where he was. You've got Tyrell this with the SD cards. You have this scattered group of children, little boys, and the shadiest, the guiltiest looking folks I think I have ever seen. All of them. Okay, all of them acting in just bizarro land. What do you think this was? And then people, they will come forward and they'll say, all right, let's do a couple of things here. Let's do a couple of things. Let's figure out how we can talk about this for our own benefits. Now, number one, Tim Pool, nobody cares about. whatever he says, whatever. But people like Barnes and Viva and others, I'm really, I can, because I thought they were so spot on, like they caught things. They were our eyes. They were, government overlap and sometimes, conspiracies and surveillance. And I liked what they did and how they felt. This is like, wow. You mean you actually believe this story? And I don't think they're stupid. So I'm thinking these terribly dark things about, well, why would they change their mind? Why would they say this? Why would they say this? I don't want to think what I'm thinking. I don't really understand. And then we have this has become the battle of the personalities. It has nothing to do with the underlying case, nothing to do with what really happened. And one of the things which is interesting, which is fascinating to many of us who have been around for a while, is this new group of people who are, for the most part, coalescing. People who were left and right meeting. This was a piece from somebody who has just made such inroads. This is Anna Kasparian. She is the distaff moiety of the Young Turks.
Regardless of what you might think about Candace Owens, she's been investigating Charlie Kirk's assassination every single day since it happened. Anyone who follows her show has seen her exclusively present materials that give any rational person the very reasonable doubt that would acquit Tyler Robinson.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Now, this is from somebody who would be, might be Candace's political antithesis, theoretically, one would say. I don't know. I don't necessarily think so, but this is true.
Candace joins us today to walk us through it all.
Now, people
Candace,
don't know
welcome.
People didn't know what to do with this. Anna Kasparian is the prototypical lefty, progressive, and probably one could say that maybe her overall ideology doesn't overlap with yours 100%. But when it comes to this, when it comes to Charlie, when it comes to the Tyler Robinson investigation, different story.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for doing this, especially on such short notice. I was planning on doing this segment totally by myself, but there's just so much, and I know I'm gonna miss things, and you do really know this case like the back of your hand. So I wanna start off by talking about what you covered on your show yesterday, because for me, that was it. At that point, I'm like, I'm gonna talk about this, and I'm gonna give her kudos, because this video footage is very suspicious, and we need answers, and it does cast some doubt on the official narrative surrounding Tyler Robinson and how this assassination allegedly took place. So, you have mentioned on your show repeatedly that less than 4 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot, Terrell Farnsworth, who runs audio and visual for Turning Point USA, was seen taking down one of the cameras that was like on the set where Charlie was, right? So there's 4 minutes after Charlie Kirk was shot. That's the camera that Terrell Farnsworth goes to immediately, takes it down. Everyone take a look.
So when the footage began going viral, the clip of Terrell taking down that camera in particular, people online, I think, rightfully speculated that there must have been something really important about that back footage behind Charlie's head specifically. And then people were gaslit. We were told, no, there was nothing unique about that camera. There was nothing unique about that footage in particular. Contrary to what Andrew Colvett is saying, there was something special about that footage behind Charlie's head, and Terrell beelined to it in particular. And he was nervous about that footage in particular.
Let me stop right just for 1 second, okay? Do you ever hear Candace say, I just think, I don't have any evidence of it, but I just think this. I just kind of believe this. No. She tells you why. Listen to what she's saying. These aren't hunches. These aren't. She is telling you based upon the evidence that I am showing you. I know this. I know you know this, but tell everybody else. Before you call her satanic and sadistic and evil or whatever it is, Look at what she's doing. You will never, ever hear anybody come forward and say, no, Candace, that's not true. That interpretation is wrong. Those aren't SD cards. They weren't taken out. This was the wrong date, the wrong time. You have the wrong person. No. The other day, in fact, you had one particular once believed a lawyer say that the particular, remember the compressed photos, they said it was AI. It's this, whatever you do, trash her. Now, I've got to say something. I don't know if they realize this or not, but there are some people who never cared one thing or another about this, who are saying, I think there's something to this. I'm believing this Tyler Robinson nonsense story. Why? Because of how they're going after Candace. They don't even realize this, and they don't apparently care.
He did not instantly grab all of the SD cards. He grabbed that one, and he did it nervously. Here he is. Here he is. He's taking down the camera altogether. If you're worried about theft, take the whole camera. It's pretty small. It's in your hand. He doesn't do that. He takes it apart and he takes the SD card out. And he looks around. He wants to see who's looking at him. And then he looks down at it and he walks around. And we had wondered, what did Terrell do when he walked around?
I don't want it to be lost on our audience, so I want to reiterate. He never provided, and this is based on the testimony that you can hear for yourselves during the preliminary hearing. He never provided the SD card, the original, SD card to the, investigation. He just provided the Google links and a flash drive, which.
Now, do you hear what's going on here? Somebody was saying before in the chat, well, that camera that is behind, which shows out, showed the drone that targeted or hit Charlie. I don't know. Some people say this. You will hear people make statements of fact, absolute. This is what happened. All we know is, and I'm saying right now, we don't know anything. But the problem is the only one even asking this question, and nobody from TPUSA or Terrell or anybody will say, well, here's what happened, or that's precisely what I did, or here's why I did it. They just ignore it. They just call her satanic.
Would indicate that there's a possibility of evidence tampering, no?
There's certainly a possibility. We don't know, but these are questions that anybody who is looking at this case should be rationally asking, because Terrell had an opportunity to edit that footage. This is all happening within 10 minutes of Charlie getting hit. Terrell runs up to a ledge, records a selfie video of himself as Charlie's being carried to the car.
And that was also the creepiest of them all. In fact, our friend Zamet says, Candace feels responsible for not being able to protect her little brother. She's fighting for him now with steel resolve, and the haters are running scared. You know what? Absolutely. Here, freaking here. Absolutely.
He says Charlie's dead, which is a stunning thing to say. A stunning thing. Nobody knew that Charlie was dead. Charlie wasn't going to make it. Your next step is not to call 911, but to jump down and secure the camera behind his head. Are we allowed to acknowledge that that's strange?
And let me also add something, which is very important. Remember the notion of obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, being an accessory. Whenever something occurs, there has been the sight of a death, a murder, a shooting. And I'm starting to take things down, clean things up. Oh, I don't know, pave over grass, clean up, remove blood, do a lot of things. It is very easy for somebody to believe that perhaps maybe I might be aiding and abetting this as an accomplice or as an accessory after the fact, cleaning up, the old harboring of fugitive, but doing what I can to take the evidence, grab the stuff. It's like if you walked into your friend's home or apartment, found that they were dead or deceased, same thing, and you were to quick grab their cell phone, grab their laptop, and took it with you. That may be more than just theft. That may be you trying to subvert and obstruct justice. And yet, the question I have also is, has he been granted immunity, much like Lance Twiggs? See, we're going to find this out, I hope, if we have an aggressive defense during this portion afterwards. Once the depositions start, bring in everybody. Everybody. You can have the time of your life. And they have to all get their stories straight. Every single one. That's when, believe it or not, Candace's assistance is most needed during pretrial.
I mean, I'm acknowledging it. I do think that's strange. And what's even more strange is the exclusive footage that you presented on your show just yesterday. So you asked, rightfully, like, what happened immediately after he took the SD card out of the camera? And you managed to find footage of what he did immediately after. So that's what we're going to take a look at next.
Isn't this incredible? Where is she finding all of this footage? You know, somebody is saying, where does she get this? You know, somewhere. I don't know if it's TPUSA Central or where it is, but they must be asking, how does she do this? How is she what is going on here? How is she doing this? How in the name of God is this person, is she getting all of this information, everything? And Utah is walking around, there we go. They have nothing. The prosecution still has no idea of what is even going on. Look, we must say there's a possibility that maybe the prosecution and the defense know exactly what this is. They've seen it. I hope so. But if it's not, look how this private citizen. And the question also remains, the reason why Candace is so important in this is not because of her own particular opinion. She's merely pointing out, what does this mean? She's asking you. She's not telling you what's on the SD card. She's not telling you what's in the mind of Terrell. She's not doing that. She's telling you specifically, this is what happened.
Here is what Terrell did thereafter, seen for the first time.
Where does she get this?
Terrell is there.
Did he ever deny that?
He looks around, again, nervously, and he puts the SD card in his pocket, and he zips up. He doesn't run to the other cameras and try to grab the SD card. Instead, what he does is he whips out his phone, and he begins texting with someone.
Less than 4 minutes after Charlie Kirk gets shot, he goes for the camera to take the SD card out. Like, I just feel like most people their mind wouldn't go there.
Yeah. I also want to raise the most significant part. He violates the crime scene to do it.
Yes.
He pulls the chair that Charlie, according to him, just died in, because he said instantly that Charlie was dead. So he knew it was a crime scene.
And how did he know he was dead? They were taking him out. They were taking him to the hospital. He didn't know. He knew. He pretty much said. And remember this weird kind of look, like he was looking rather furtive.
And he drags the chair that Charlie was sitting on that has blood all over it and stands on top of it, stands over the other camera, which has been knocked over, to basically unfasten that camera to bring it down. And he just takes that SD card out, and he's constantly looking both ways. Like, looking both ways as if he is doing something wrong, or like he has some sort of a fear. I mean, that's what I see in his body language when I look at that.
And nobody seems to be. Barnes doesn't care about this. Viva doesn't care about this, and others as well. I'm just picking those two. And these are pretty smart guys. Even have they ever said, you've got a point there. Candace, good for touche on that one. No. She's just crazy. She's daft. She's a lunatic. And then you see these wonderful, how do I say this? These folks who say these things, watch this. This is again, more anti-Candace, blasphemy.
With Erica Kirk is one of the darkest things I've ever seen.
Truly.
It's never going to be normal to me. Like, I log on, I can't believe women say these things and write these things and post them.
What?
Well, when I say spiritual, Candace Owens quite literally said this week, we are legion.
Now remember this one, okay? Listen to this.
All that.
I mean, you can't make up. She's quoting the demons of the New Testament. Like, this is a direct verbatim quote from Scripture.
It's also, by the way, if you go through history, do any type of a review of this, do a cursing. It has been said since the beginning of time and is still referenced. It is still a phrase. That's all I'm saying. It's name of movies, but they, of course, are going to remember. She's demonic, not wrong, not incorrect, not confused as to the positioning and the evidence. No. She's demonic. Candace Owens is the devil. Are you here? Do you believe this? Do you believe what you're hearing?
I also think that, all of this conspiracy stuff, whether it be Candace or this.
Conspiracy stuff. Conspiracy. Again, for the gazillionth time, they use conspiracy to mean crazy, to mean unnecessarily unproven legerdemain and, skullduggery or bad guys and ghouls. It is, for the millionth time, the wrong information. Yes, the conspiracy is two or more people engaged in some type of a confederation or agreement to do something against the law. Most assuredly, that's absolutely true. Versus the lone gunman, single actor theory that I believe this woman is trying to purport.
Like, I don't know that this necessarily would be the environment that this could happen. It had 2020 not happened, because the reason that people are
had 2020 the election. Is that what she's getting at?
So willing to believe conspiracy is because there was
conspiracy again.
Real conspiracy, because we were lied to by the media and by the government and by.
Oh, so she believes in conspiracies. She's a selective conspiracy theorist. Selective.
Everyone around us, people have taken this to the extreme to where they question every single thing now. And I think the right answer to that is, yes, we need to ask a lot more questions. We need to be a lot more discerning.
Yes.
But people are not stopping there. They're not having a boundary on it, and it's going way too far.
Well, what is the boundary? What is the boundary? Our friend Zamed says we're taking notice of the silence of the justice crusaders. This will not age well. Indeed.
But at the same time, I can understand how they got there. Absolutely. Having been lied to for years. That we're all seeing this come out now with Fauci and everything. But it's like a wound that they haven't healed, and they're acting and believing and sharing from a hurt place, really.
But of course, that's much different than attacking a widow.
Yeah, I'm not. No excuse for that. I don't really get that. I mean, I think believing in some conspiracies is a little different than attacking Erica herself.
The tropes, the memes, the phrases, the incantations, the rants, the prayers, the widow. They're again. You can ask any of these people, excuse me, is there anything about the evidence as adduced by the prosecution that causes you the slightest bit of concern or question? Anything. And they'll say, I really don't know what you're talking about. I thought so. They don't know anything about the facts of the case.
Of any sort, because now you just don't trust anything anymore. And even politics, like, I don't even go on X anymore because all anyone was doing was accusing someone else of being a paid shill, right?
If only.
Right? I'm like, I know.
How do I get paid?
There's no one offering me money. But to me, I'm like, no, I love just telling stories. And when you get close to the center, it's sometimes not as exciting. Like, I was at the White House and I'm like, you guys are giving these people way too much credit. I see them. I don't think they're all out to destroy the human race. And I don't think a lot of them are smart enough to. But sometimes it backfires when you get close to the center and you see that it's not as exciting, and then you can't chase those conspiracies, and people don't love it.
I have no idea what that means. Thank you, Shira. Thank you so much. This is just talking and extrapolating and expanding and saying things that just make no particular sense. Then enter, of course, the great PBD. And a fellow, by the way, named Tony Lapidus. Did you see this? This is the great. Who thought that PBD, Patrick Bet-David, could be the subject of such a spot-on impersonation? Did you see this? This This is Legion.
Really want to know who I thought the winner was in that debate between Andrew Wilson and Candace Owens about Tyler Robinson and Charlie Kirk? You really want to know? You ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this, right? So hear me out. It's a little bit controversial what I'm going to say, and I haven't heard this theory anywhere else, but I think I'm right, so hear me out. I don't think the real winner was Candace Owens. I thought she did well. I thought that she handled herself well. I thought that she was calm and collected. I respect that. And she came knowing her facts, right? Andrew Wilson, I think he also did a fantastic job. I think the shaking was a little bit too much, but I thought he did a pretty good job. But they were not the real winners. You want to know who the real winners was? Who the real winner was? And guess what? The real winner was not even in that room. The real winner was Erica Kirk. A lot of people say, PBD, have you lost your mind?
Yes, he has. Now, I'm not going to hear the whole thing. It is incredible. Now, by the way, lest you forget this, this is important. Our friend, Mr. Whatever, he has a difficult time. Later on, he had a problem. I have it someplace. He had this argument. He said, I didn't get a $5 million worth of advertising. Anyway, he's arguing, even took the position against PBD, who, by the way, who is a certified dumbass. In the school of Pickles, created this idea that I'm a business genius. I am possessed with a knowledge that you mere mortals don't have. And he just came out of nowhere. And if you listen to him and say, what is he saying? That's even remotely profound. Pa says, are we expecting the judge to invite the jury to infer a connection between the bullet fragments and the rifle? Abrogation, possibly? Well, abrogation, don't know what that particular phrase was. To abrogate is to overrule or to reverse. To infer a connection between the bullet fragments and the rifle. Well, it's a good question, but the answer is no. How is a judge going to say, even though it is inconclusive that this rifle had anything to do, like this lint brush, had any connection whatsoever to the murder, I want you to infer. I don't know how that would even remotely be. To infer? I don't know. That's even possible. Let me tell you another one, too, who I find just without a doubt, again, somebody who is just going out there who says, I'm going to just scream. I don't know what I'm talking about. 1 minute he says, I never met with anybody from Israel, never met with Bibi. Then he did meet, then he didn't. And then he doesn't know what he wants to be when he grows up. It's this little boy in the rumpus room with the swords and the guns on the wall.
Candace Owens is a f***ing evil scumbag. She is a degenerate.
You see how he works himself into this? He works himself into this absolute, how do I say this? Somebody says, why no bond hearing? Well, this is one of the reasons. There is no bond. There is no bond. That was, I don't believe there. I don't know if that was officially asked for. This particular instance, on murder one, on aggravated murder, there is no bond. None. You're not going to hear us say, don't even bother. But that's a good question. I was going to say, by the way, Brett McIntyre says, how confident are you the judge in Tyler Robinson's case is going to be fair and non-biased? Not at all. Not at all. Are you kidding? Especially with Don Jr., the president's son, saying, do the right thing. Okay. But this fellow with his little beanie, his wool beanie, that thing must stink too. I hope he's got a series of them. Remember when David Crosby, towards the end of his life, wore this little doily, this thing on his head? Remember that little tea cozy? He wore it on his head. I'm thinking that thing must smell. Probably standing up. It's like Steve Bannon's jacket or Chris Christie's velour jacket he wore during Hurricane Sandy. But I digress.
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And
what is he talking about? Does anybody, seriously, if you think this is true, tell me.
You know what you told me? She has no security. She doesn't deal with this.
Why is he getting mad? He's trying. He says, look, I really don't know what I'm saying. So what I do is if I hit the table a lot and I provide this with some kind of performative adjunct to what I'm saying, I'm really not saying that much. But if I scream and yell and pound, maybe you might infer or construe that as, I don't know, sincerity.
Shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer.
Look at her look.
And all of these conservatives out there that send me these messages have no balls to call her out.
Why are we going to call her out? Again, this is a man who said, listen, Timmy, I want you to go out there, I want you to act angry. You don't have anything. But throw in a how dare you, throw in an evil. Here's some words I wrote. Evil, satanic, psychotic, psychopathic, mean, nasty, untoward, whatever you want, because you don't have anything. And listen, my friend, we are collapsing. Your views are collapsing. But it's not just views. The legitimacy, once it sticks to you, once somebody says, oh, you're a sellout, that's it. See, there's one thing, and I want you to understand something. You can say whatever you want. You can be a lunatic as long as you, the audience, believes that this is what they really believe. You might disagree with it, but as long as you say, they really think this, I'll tune in. But the moment you think they're doing this just for money, or they're being paid, or they're being compromised, you don't listen anymore.
More and more people have started doing it. They send me these messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't DM me like I did something for you as you cower, scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Ooh, did you hear this one? Ooh, that was the nerve. You benefited. Not only benefited, but the accusations that have been made and that have been swirling around him for the longest time, and I, of course, have no independent knowledge of that. I'm really telling you what has been said, is that he's a shill and a shell and a cell, a shill and a cell, as in sell out. When he met with all the influencers at the White House, who met with Bibi, and he was like, this was at a time when, you could have said a lot of things. You could have said war is hell, but basically saying, this Israeli thing, no big deal here. Nothing to see. Stop. And again, he presented the anti-Semitic trope, which is beyond lame.
Assassination, which he's doing to me right now.
Yeah, that was
I'm done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh, yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. Shouldn't give two no one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall and one fat guy, and she doesn't give a about her security. Meanwhile, I get bullets fired at my property, and I have to go live in the middle of nowhere. And I got strangers coming up to my house in Maryland.
Now, let me stop right there. I don't even know where we're going with that. I don't see this. This is not good. When people listen to you and people say, "What is he talking about?" That's not a good sign. Let me tell you something. You're not going to believe this. Do you remember that Pickles at one point kind of made some sense? Did you know this? Pickles wished he never said this one, but you remember this one?
You have many questions here, and I've been pretty vocal about them.
Now, this is before they say, who's I'm for sale. Theoretically, intellectually, or not literally, dollars. No, could be, but people say, look, consistency is not my thing. Where do you want me to go? Listen to what Pickles said immediately after, or for a short time after the actual horror.
Where's the rifle?
Interesting. Now remember, this is Pickles. Look what he said this before he changed his mind. He doesn't think this anymore.
Did they find it? I thought they found it.
They found it, yeah, but here's the interesting part. They didn't find it on the roof.
This is, You see what you see why nobody pays attention to them? This is you said that then, and what, you've changed your mind all of a sudden? What changed your mind? What evidence do you have? Facts haven't changed. He was on to something here.
They found it in a wooded woods area near the location. When I witnessed this guy jumping, where's the rifle? I don't see it.
This is Pickles. Now remember, this is where these people go, whether it's Timmy, whether it's Pickles, whether it's the aforementioned. 1 minute you think you know them, and then they change their minds. And then, see, that's not good. There's one thing about Candace that I hope many of us, we're consistent, and we don't mind telling you this is what we think. We appreciate the fact that you may or may not agree or disagree, but we don't do a 180. We don't do a 180 and say, you know what? If all of a sudden tomorrow you heard me say, Candace is evil, somebody's paying me off. If tomorrow all of a sudden I'm saying she doesn't know what she's talking about, there's no evidence of this, she hasn't named one anomaly, you would say, what did the body snatchers get you? That's what these people do. And either they're so sloppy or so craven or so, for sale, so to speak, or they're not very bright, or they just don't care.
Well, you're a gun guy, Andrew. Are there rifles that can be like disassembled or?
Sure, but my understanding was, so if you have a Mauser that's a fixed barrel, that's not something you're going to be able to take the barrel off of without specialty tools, a gun vise, and various things like this. Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, on the Mauser, that is a threaded, not pressed barrel. So you're not just going to unthread that barrel. That's not how that works. You don't just go, and unthread the barrel and you're good to go. That has to be a specialty takedown rifle. Yeah. So even if this was disassembled, if you have a barrel length and then you have the stock, which is there, that should protrude from the backpack. And then also on top of that, and the scope. You're not going to disassemble that in a way where you reassemble it on top of a building.
And by the by, somebody, and I don't know who said this, not only do you reassemble it, not only with not a screwdriver, but an Allen wrench, which is different. So little things like this add up because you shouldn't have these many inconsistencies when there's a clear pattern of truth.
Without that outstretched barrel being there. So where is the rifle itself?
Good question.
If you zoom in on this guy, Brian, do you guys see it? Am I crazy?
Well, wow. Isn't that something? Did you know that? Did you see that? Does that not shock you? Say, oh my God. Oh my God, where did this come from? It's hard to figure out. Now, the level of genius that we are seeing, the level of genius in terms of lampooning, critiques, comedy is without peer. Ladies and gentlemen,
Tucker Carlson. They just keep getting louder, but they don't control the algorithm. It's inside that building. We steal it, we control the conversation. So I'm putting together a team. Andrew and Rachel Wilson. Locks, safes, vaults. If it's closed, they open it.
Andrew, come on, open it. Come on, it's not a damn pickle jar.
Will you shut up, Rachel? Just shut up!
Tinny, speed, agility, gets in, gets out.
This one's for you, BB.
Erica Kirk. When we need sympathy, she gets it. Tears on command. Nobody does it better.
What the hell is she doing?
Andrew Colbett. Spokesperson. Whatever happens, he explains why it didn't.
Everybody calm down. There was no operation.
Who said anything about an operation?
Right. And nobody tried to access the vault.
What vault?
Okay. I'm gonna start over.
And Blake Ness. He's just here.
I hate you, Candace! You're gonna ruin everything!
All right, let's get to work.
Where? Right here. Remember this. This is where, wait a minute there. Where forbidden, WEAR forbidden. absolutely, positively, 100% immutable, immane, colossal genius. I'm seeing genius at levels. Meanwhile, that's where we're going. That's what we're doing. We're pointing problem after problem. Even Pickles himself said, wait a minute, you see what's going on? But yet to listen to these other people, Candace is evil, you know the routine. She's evil, she's satanic. I don't know how you can do it. I don't know how you can do it. And I keep expecting one day the logic police to kick in and say, all right, okay, all right, fine. Okay, you're right about that. You're right. Made a mistake. Okay. But no, there's nothing. It's like it doesn't exist. And every single day, on every iteration, every show, there's always a discussion about the facts of the case, not personalities. Now, we like you, don't like you, you're a jerk, you're an idiot. No, that's not it. That's not it. So this is where we are right now. It's phenomenal. Let me go back again. We don't necessarily just sit back and say everything is always a conspiracy, as they would say. In the Lindsay Clancy case, there's no doubt about it. And you can argue, what, go down the list. There are very, very few cases where we say we're not sure if he did it. There hasn't been a who done it, and I don't know how long. This is a real who done it. This is I don't know who did it. This is JFK. I don't know who did it. I don't know who did it. And this is the chance of a lifetime. This is what, sleuths and people who enjoy this particular type of activity live for. That's what this is about. The bottom line is simply this, my friend, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Candace Owens is leading the charge. She is out there drawing all the fire. She needs an award. Of course, you could say, well, she's being handsomely rewarded by virtue of her following, but it's because of the truth. She doesn't go out and just say things. She says, this is the evidence. And they'll say, they're trying to make money off of the blood of Charlie. This is my favorite. When they have actual tents and microphones. You've seen this before. This is the oldest. They've run out of information. They've run out of material. The trope, the meme, it's over with. It's dumb. Absolutely done. And everywhere, there are people who still find this fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. This is a whodunit. The Lindsay Clancy case, it's interesting, but not. That's not a whodunit. I can't think of any other time where we said, really, who did this? And in the meantime, the people who are themselves Christians, purveyors of Christianity, followers of the Holy Word, I think Jesus would have a little maybe sensitivity about the death penalty and being put on trial. You know what I mean? Because throughout history, from St. Paul to Martin Luther King to you name it, whenever they want to get to you, they want to go through you through the criminal justice system. But you would think somebody would say, you are pretty fast and loose with the notion of this young man facing the death penalty. Have you ever concerned yourself with this? No. Are you saying, any of you have no doubt about this? I mean, even Pickles himself says 75% sure that's not guilty. So there we have it, my friends. It does not get any better than this. And I promise you, I commit to you, for whatever it's worth, you have my word, you have my consistency. If for whatever reason I ever think, I've been wrong about this, I came upon a fact today. I heard a witness or something, and I've changed my mind. I've had it all wrong. I will tell you that. I absolutely, positively, very, very few times in my life have I really changed opinion. Sometimes as far as law enforcement goes. I've changed my mind about prostitution laws, for example. I have a hard time too, believe it or not. That's about it. I'm still really wondering sometimes whether we made a big mistake in legalizing weed, but inherently I still believe that you shouldn't be able to prosecute people for possessing this, even though it hurts you. I know that's hard to understand. I still have got very serious problems with the death penalty for a variety of reasons. That hasn't changed. I really don't change my mind. I don't change my mind. I don't just like our friend Pickles there, who just flips, does a 180. I have no idea. And I can't believe that something as big that the donors don't move in and say, effective immediately, you're all fired. Everybody, Neff, Colvett, everybody, Erica, take a leave. We're taking over. Remember the scene from the Flamingo when after they killed Bugsy Siegel, immediately they walked in and said, we're taking over. They knew exactly the moment they killed him in LA. Somebody needs to walk in, get a receivership and saying, we're taking over your children. My friends, I thank you. I thank you immensely for your kindness. I thank you for everything. Thank you for this. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. By the way, last night we were on WABC. Every Saturday and Sunday morning, tomorrow morning too, well, which is tonight really, 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. And we talked about mental health. It was a beaut. And tonight we're going to go into some surveillance discussion, much to the chagrin and the worry of a lot of people who don't realize that we are living under the most repressive, dystopian world. Flock cameras, meta glasses will be your doom. We'll talk about that tonight. In any event, my friends, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. We're going to be doing one later on this evening. Don't know exactly the time. And I'm so glad. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. I appreciate it immensely. And remember, as we always say, as we always end, as we always provide, this is our valedictory. Remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.